Welcome to Explained. Today we're going to talk about the perfection fallacy. And the perfection fallacy is the unattainable goal for perfection, which can really drive you crazy. Now let's talk about how that manifests. Let's assume you have an IQ of plus 200. In other words, really you should have the potential to get 100% for every test that you ever write. The fact is that you won't get 100% for every test. The fact is that you will most likely from time to time make silly mistakes, you will lose concentration, you will misunderstand the question, anything of that nature is possible. And then to beat yourself up because you didn't get 100% is exactly what the perfection fallacy is. The challenge in that is not so much to not have the quest for perfection. The challenge is to have a realistic expectation given your potential. And if that translates badly into how you function and operate in real life every day with your children, with your spouse, with your colleagues, that can become a really debilitating fallacy to carry with you. So, one of the smart things to do is to, rather than have a unrealistic expectation, set certain bands of expectations. So in your 200 IQ case, a realistic band would be to say, well, 90% to 100% is a realistic expectation, given all sorts of various factors, whether on a particular day you feel a bit ill, or you're not feeling your strong self, you're misunderstood. Any of those factors can then take away from your performance away from 100. And so when you then achieve anything between 90 and 100, well, that's an acceptable, realistic expectation. If you then want to pursue the perfection or attaining of potential, it leaves you free to set yourself another band, say between 80% and 90%. So that if you fall below the 90% barrier, you know that given all the other factors, given your potential, you really should not be dipping below 90. Between 80 and 90 is then a safety barrier. You haven't really not done well, but you haven't quite performed to potential. And that's your amber light, your yellow light that says, look, it's not exactly green, but it's not exactly red. Anything below 80 then becomes a danger zone. And this can now manifest very safely in a variety of places. You can actually set these bands for your children in their academic performance. You can set these bands for key performance areas for your colleagues, your subordinates. You can be kind to yourself by calibrating your own expectations to a way in a place where this unrealistic expectation of 100% can be a goal that you can continue to pursue for the rest of your life. You know, I've once heard that the guitar is one of the easiest instruments to learn and one of the most difficult to perfect, if at all. And so such a quest for perfection is a good thing to drive your ambition, as long as your performances along the way is measured against a solid and realistic expectation of what of that goal is attainable. So be careful not to fall for the perfection fallacy, particularly with your children, your spouse, your co-workers. It will only lead to discord, conflict, and unhappiness. Whereas if you operate within these safety bands, it leaves a lot of space for growth, appreciation, praise, and communication around how to go further to increase the attaining of potential. I'm Louis and you're watching Explained.